C.5 of Module 3, Data Presentation in JSP. So this is the last video of our Project 1 instruction video. Yeah. In this last video, I talk about the JSP part. Yeah. We only have one JSP, although we have a simple welcome page, but the real main one, this one, lists all the data. Yeah. All right, so after this video, so we complete the whole project 1, so I will create a project 1 assignment. When I create project 1 assignment, I feel I like to add 2 dynamic information pieces. Very simple, but I want to add 2 dynamic pieces of information in the final JSP question list page. I will describe in the instruction of project 1 assignment. Just 2 items. The reason is very simple, because the whole project, I provide the code instructions, so you do not have any code, your code to write, right? Yeah. So I like to use these 2 simple dynamic information pieces for you to write your own code. Very simple, very little, but you need to write your own code a little bit. Yeah. But check the instruction part of project 1 assignment. I will also send you announcement describe those 2 items. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's start. First, yeah. Here, let me explain the display page JSP file. Display that, the main pieces. Yeah. So there are several pieces I like to talk about. So before we, get to the, development part. All right. The first page, add CSS and JavaScript libraries. Yeah. In web development, many times we need to add some remote libraries. Yeah. Although we can download, put the logo, but for some of the reasons, sometimes if the library is too big, right? Too big, so we don't want to download. Yeah. So we just use the remote libraries. Yeah. Here we have that situation. Yeah. All right. CSS and JavaScript libraries. So let me talk about a little bit. First, the CSS library. There is a, pretty important CSS library, Bootstrap library. Yeah. So this one was developed by the Facebook. So they used in their internal development team, and then later they make it available to the community, to the web technology community, so everyone can use their technology. Bootstraps. It is a CSS library, so mainly used to make your page look better. Yeah. So that's the main purpose. Another important feature of this Bootstrap library, they can make your pages responsive. Yeah. So that terminology is another important consideration in web development. Responsive. So what's that? Responsive. All right. So that's not, the response time faster, not that meaning. So responsive, because think about the page size can change, right? Yeah, for different devices, different computer, machine, tablet, cell phone, for different display devices. How do you make the same page look well? Yeah. How can you make your page for different size display still look right? Yeah. So you need to make adjustment, right? The page itself need to support some technique to do appropriate adjustment. That kind of responsive adjustment, that's the responsive, requirement. Yeah. And this library supports this feature. So when you write the code, you do not need to worry about yourself. Yeah, because if you want to make your page responsive using the tricks, using the techniques, it is very complicated. Yeah. But if you use their library, some already well-developed library to do that, then much easier. All right. So that's the background of this Bootstrap CSS library. Here in this project, we use Bootstrap to arrange our layout. Although our layout is pretty simple, yeah, but in this Bootstrap, so there is a simple layout feature, grid. Yeah, so they define the grid type layout. Grid type layout. Yeah, so it's different from table. We know tables do the grid type layout. Yeah, but they use the CSS way to organize the grid type layout. Here we use that a little bit. Our questions, order number, rows, columns, that's the grid. So we use it, right? Yeah. Although only a little bit, yeah, but we use it. Yeah. All right, but in order to use Bootstrap library, you need to add it to your page, right? Add it to your page. Yeah. Here, the code is very simple. In the header part of the page, you add the link. Yeah. Link, CSS, the type, style sheet, the type of resource, then the URL of the library, the location. Yeah. So we call the CDN library. So we access Bootstrap through the CDN remote library. Yeah. So you may want to know what's the CDN, right? Yeah. Some names. Yeah. Directory, D, N, something I forgot. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. CDN. All right. So this is the CSS part, but Bootstrap also requires a JavaScript part. Yeah. Because in the CSS library, some features, they want to use dynamic features. Okay, some moving components around here, there. They use JavaScript to do that. So you also need to use JavaScript to get a dynamic component moving part. Yeah. So you need to have both. All right. Yeah. And next is a well-known jQuery JavaScript library. jQuery, yeah. So it is very popular for the web development community. jQuery can add more useful features on top of the standard regular JavaScript. Standard regular JavaScript, we can do a lot of things, but sometimes not very efficient. You need to write a lot of code. jQuery you can reduce the code you need to write, and another part, you can do more. You can do more, powerful features, jQuery. But in this project, we didn't use jQuery features. Then later, in project number 2, I plan to add a few more features on top of project 1. So project 1, we use it as the starting point of our project 2. Project 2, I add features 1, 2, 3, 4. In that case, I may use jQuery to do a few features. So let you get some experience. Here, we just include it. Okay, we may not use it, but we just include it. All right. So next, Mathjax JavaScript library. So we need this to display our math formulas in a professional way. To do that, let me explain what do we need to do in our page. First, CDN part, we provide location of the remote library. Mathjax website, CDN link. All right. Okay, so that location. After that, some configuration, some simple configuration. In this way. Then in your page, there is another configuration we like to add. So here, let me explain why this configuration. Another local configuration. Okay, this is the remote configuration. So this we call the remote configuration. All right, this is the local configuration here, right here in our page. But the question is, what is the purpose, right? So we want to know what is the purpose here. Let me explain. All right. First, remember in one of the previous videos, I explained LaTeX typesetting math language. When I talk about how do we display math formulas, there are 2 modes, right? The first one, inline modes. The second one is display mode. All right, But for the inline mode, display mode is fine, so we keep that. But for the inline mode, there is an original version with respect to the LaTeX original version, how to create inline environment for math formulas, a pair of $sign. Start with $, then your math formula, and end with another $. So this is the original inline environment. Okay, environment. All right, but this $sign, so think about that. The $sign, not very convenient. Okay, all right, So when you use $sign, because sometimes you like to use the dollar symbol, dollar literal symbol, right? If you use dollar literal symbol, you need to use escape, \$ for the dollar literal symbol. All right. So in that situation, not very convenient. So a better way, improve the way. So you use \, open parenthesis, and \, close parenthesis to replace the original inline environment, inline math formula display environment. That will be better. Yeah. So for that reason, this part, this local configuration is used for that purpose. That is the purpose. Okay. So you just know that. Okay. Improve the inline environment display. Yeah, that purpose. All right. So after you know that, because we just copy this part. Yeah, after you understand the purpose, later you just always copy, the standard configuration in this way. All right. Next, display part, display the data. So I split into two parts. The first part, in order to display the data, you need to import Java classes, right? Because in our JSP pages, we may need to use many Java classes. Okay, so to import that, very simple. So we use this this symbol. Remember this notation. So we call it JSP directives. JSP directives. Okay, yeah. Directives corresponds to that at symbol. Yeah. After the percent sign at. Yeah. Directive. Yeah. Then page. Then we can import Java packages. Okay. Also, we can import our own packages. Yeah. So that's the Java packages. Right? Yeah. Standard Java packages. Here, our own Java packages. All right. Yeah. Very simple in this way. Then we just use them anywhere we want to use. Yeah. All right. After that, retrieve data from presentation. Now, the data is stored somewhere. Then you need to retrieve, then to display the data. So how do we retrieve? All right, look at this. What is this? Request. Remember, I mentioned that before. It is implicit object. Implicit object, or the full name JSP, implicit object. Okay, implicit, we do not need to create it by ourselves. We just use it directly. Yeah, there are several, 8 or 9, that number, 8 or 9 implicit JSP objects. Whenever you need any of them, you just grab and use. Here we need to use the request implicit object. Let us grab it and use. All right, get attribute. Here, this method, get attribute, request or get attribute. Okay, yeah. Retrieve data from the request scope. Request scope. Here there is another concept called a scope concept. Yeah. So when you store data, you can store data in different scopes. Different scopes. So here there is a big concept called scopes. Scopes. Scope or scopes. Scopes, JSP has 4 different scopes. Page scope, so the data only available in the current page. Page scope. Then request scope. We know request has a cycle. Okay, request response. There is a whole cycle. Yeah, one cycle you can put several pages in the cycle. All the pages connected in this cycle, they can share data in the request scope. Yeah, so request scope. Then, so you can see request scope is bigger than page scope. Then session scope. Session scope even larger. Session one session, you can have multiple requests. So cover bigger than request scope. Yeah. So you put data in session scope, then you can use it in the whole session. Yeah. The session concept. Yeah. I will talk about more detail. We have other chances to talk about all these things in detail. The largest one, application scope. The whole application, anywhere you can use, put the application scope. Okay, yeah. These two scopes used more frequently. Yeah, page scope, application scope used, not that frequent. Yeah. All right. So here, to retrieve data from request scope, we use the request implicit object and call its method get attribute. Here, this is the attribute name of the data. Attribute name of the data. Yeah. When you store the data, if you go back to our servlet, yeah, servlet, yeah. Go back to our servlet. How do we store data? You can look at how do we store it. Set attribute, right? Set. Some request object, still request. Because we want to store it in a request scope. Set attribute. Then when you store data in a request attribute, you need to provide a name, right? This is the name. Prob list. Okay. At that place, the first parameter has to be the data object name. Okay, data object name. Yeah. Then the second one, the object itself, the object variable reference, that part. So that probably the same name we use. Yeah. Still prob list, for example. Yeah. Could be the same name. So you store data under this name, attribute name, in that place. Now, when you want to retrieve it, you have to use the same name here. All right. So then the format of the data, list of Java beans. So this is a list of Java beans. Yeah. List of probably, yeah. So this structure, concept, explanation. Here you just know a list of Java beans. Okay. Yeah. But I want to explain this, the detail of the structures in part A of module 3. Yeah, that place. I will give you more explanation because here I want to save some time. Yeah. All right. So that's the part 1 of display data part. Display data number 2. Arrange data for display. For loop. We need a for loop to display our data in a table. Okay, in a table. Yeah. So that part. Yeah. Pretty simple. This is the table to display. Okay. Yeah. That's the class here. These classes, CSS classes from Bootstrap. Remember? Yeah. Bootstrap CSS library. Okay, CSS library. Bootstrap. Yeah. Okay. If you want to learn the basics of Bootstrap, you can go to here. I recommend W3 Schools. Yeah. So many of you know that. Schools.com. Yeah. Very simple tutorials, very easy to learn. Yeah. So you just get idea how to use the tables with different styles. All right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So then the table structure, right? Yeah. For loop, go through the list of Java beans, the whole list. Yeah. Each row, you retrieve the current. So this is the current Java bean object. Current bean. Yeah. Then you retrieve different properties from the current. Yeah. Different properties from the current Java bean and display. Yeah. And when you display, this is what we use, JSP expression. Okay, yeah. I will talk about JSP preparation, more details in, other parts. Yeah. So, but here just let you know, this is the way we display JSP expressions. Regarding the theory, syntax, all the details, we have other places we can learn. Yeah. All right. So after this part, you can see, and we complete everything we need for, for this project. Yeah. Then, other than that, add 2 more dynamic pieces of information. Then we complete it. Yeah. All right. Now here, let me work on the code part. Copy code part. So then I run it. So then we are done. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. After the project loaded, yeah, let us look at our instruction file. All right. Yeah. Where is our instruction file? Yeah, this one. Yeah. All right. Instruction file, step number 6. All right. But we need to create JSP list.jsp first. Yeah. Here, this project. All right. Web app node, right click, new, JSP, we just type lowercase list, finish. All right, then we copy several parts of the code. Yeah. Remember, yeah, first at the beginning, yeah, think about that. We need to copy these things at the beginning. Okay, yeah, here, let me just copy this part at the beginning of the page. Yeah. All right, so my whole page, yeah. Let me put here. Okay. Yeah. At the very beginning. All right. Yeah. Because that's the information we want to tell the Java server what we need to do. Yeah. Before working on the page, we need to tell the server to do some preparation. Yeah. So that's the part. Yeah. After that, so we copy the library part, right? Library, yeah. So here, these 3 CD and library links, let me copy together. Okay, yeah. Same time, yeah. Put in the header part. Header, yeah, title, yeah, below this. Yeah, paste, put here, yeah, and save. Yeah. Then copy other pieces of information. Mathjax. Mathjax after this one. You know, indentation not that important. Yeah. All right. Save. And another one is title. Yeah. Title element, yeah, may not be that important. If you do it or not, may not be that important. Yeah. So here we just you know, change the title here. Yeah. Optional. Yeah. All right. After that, then the JavaScript, not JavaScript, JSP. The JSP, yeah, images, here we skip it, but later I will give you some optional chance to display images, just for your own interest. I will provide instructions how to put the images, because some of the math questions we use many images. Yeah. For some students, you may be curious how to display those images. Yeah. So I will make that part, but that will be optional. Yeah. Then we just do the body, the whole body element. Yeah. So that's for the data display. All right. Yeah. So this body element empty. Yeah. Let us, you know, replace the whole empty body element and save. All right. Now here you can see there is no error, right? After we complete the code, there is no error. So we are ready to run this project, and then we complete everything in our instruction. All right. So the standard way run this project. Yeah. Because this is the first time I run this project. Okay. So I want to check the server is correct. Yeah. So everything else correct. All right. Yeah. So this version project. So finish. I want to see the result. The database already started. Yeah. Good. See the data. Yeah. All right. So the data normal. Okay. Yeah. So it's normal. All right. Images not available. I didn't provide you image files. Yeah. It's pretty big. You know. We know image files pretty big. Yeah. But I will make that part optional for you. Yeah. So if you like to see, you know, for your curiosity, yeah, then you can do it. Yeah. You know, so then you will feel happy when you see those images. Yeah. All right. So let me stop the instruction, all 5 instruction videos right here. Then later I will create an assignment and put 2 instruction items. Then you can complete the whole project. But I will give you a few more days, you know, for that purpose, in order to do those 2 little dynamic features, very little. I just give you a few more days to do it. All right, so let's stop here. Yeah.